Regis Connoisseur, and welcome to our fan experience. Join me today as I go in depth into the exhilarating match that was as we get into today, Arsenal look to take on Wolves for the second time in a matter of weeks, as they previously played them at Molineux Stadium on the 10th to a 1-0 victory, thanks to Gabriel header. And going into today, coming off the high of the last two matches, Arsenal look to continue the momentum. And as you look at the starting 11 today, they were it was not only the exact same, or it was not only the exact same as the lineup they had against Wolves a couple weeks ago, but that chemistry would deem vital in their potential success. Although it came at the cost of Takahiro Tomiyasu once again missing due to a calf injury, and surprisingly the loss of Emile Smith Rowe, who was sick today, and he could have, as he always does, could have made a difference in this match. But as we get into the match today, contrary to 2 weeks ago, Wolves seemed very rejuvenated and eager to prove their worth as a top 10 team in the Premier League. As just 6 minutes in, it looked like Ruben Neves, who has the tendency to score absolute worldies, had put Wolves up 1-0. But fortunately, he was just in front of an Arsenal defender and was ruled offside. And so as a result, the goal was disallowed. But only less than 5 minutes later, and with the significance of me mentioning Gabriel, earlier, and the allusion to him scoring in the first matchup between these two teams, he played a unfortunate role in the first goal against in this game, in which he, after a goal kick by Wolves, he attempted to pass it back to Aaron Ramsdale, but it got picked up by Wan Hee Chan. And as I mentioned in my transfer review video, as you can see up there, he's been a revelation for Wolves this year, and he picked it up and he put it into the bottom right corner to give Wolves a 1-0 lead. And it was an absolutely egregious error by Gabriel, but you just gotta move on when you make those kind of errors, and he should put his head up high, as he's done a lot better to contain his numerous errors this year compared to last year. And Wolves would continue the pressure only 3 minutes later, as Raul Jimenez also got a very good chance passing through the Arsenal defense, which looked very susceptible and vulnerable in this game, and he just put it wide of the left post. And at this point, Arsenal needed to get going, and fortunately, they would get a little spurt of energy with Alexander Lacazette putting in a great shot that ultimately went nowhere, but it was at least something. It was showing some sign of encouragement, and it was ultimately rewarded as a goal kick. But just a couple minutes later, they would once again get a great chance by Bukayo Saka from a Martin Odegaard pass, but it would be subsequently blocked by Romain Saiss. Later in the first half, Gabriel Martinelli, making his return from getting a red card against Wolves, had a very good chance after a Connor Coady turnover, and in which he attempted to chip it over Jose Sa, but it just went over the bar, and the frustration started to kind of wear in for the Gunners, as Bukayo Saka attempted to get the ball from Wan Hee Chan, would ultimately be booked with a yellow card for that challenge. And as a result, uh, it really hindered their ability. It really hindered his ability to really go full 100% and tracking back on defense as well. And to end the first half, there'd be a couple more chances by both teams, with Gabriel Martinelli once again getting a great chance and trying to chip it over Saw again, and Daniel Podence delivering a picturesque cross towards Raul Jimenez, just going wide of the post. And going into the end of the first half with a 1-0 deficit, it didn't look very promising for the Gunners, but they are able to dig in deep when when they have their backs against the wall, and particularly with this squad of players, there's no telling of what potential they have to come back, as we will eventually see. But going into the second half now, it seemed to be more of the same, honestly, as Aaron Ramsey was really tempting with fate, letting not only him, but there are some defenders letting Wolves get in so close to the box, as Chan had another great chance that Ramsey wasn't able to get a finger on, but it just once again went wide of the post. And later in the second half, Nelson Semedo would go down for an injury, and that would take a couple minutes off. And it was a very serious injury as well. So fortunately, he would end up being substituted off. But fortunately, hopefully he'll be okay. And as play continued, a couple minutes later, Alexander Lacazette got a great chance off a free kick. Free kicks aren't his specialties. I mean, this is at this point it's unfortunate, but when they get a free kick so close to the 18-yard box, a player like David Luiz would really come in handy. But nonetheless, Lacazette put in a decent free kick, but it clipped off the Wolves' wall and back to Saw. And seeking urgency, Mikel Arteta decided to sub on Nicolas Pepe, of all players. And I was impressed with Pepe in his last appearance against Brentford, as he almost had a goal late in the game. And coming in, I was interested to see what he could potentially do, because for all his inconsistency in Arsenal, he has proven that he can be he has spurts of being world class. And boy, would he prove me right, as through a great pass from another substitute, Eddie Nketiah, Pepe made a great turn past the Wolves defender and put it in and slotted it at home with his left foot, or his natural left foot, and subsequently even the game at 1. And boy, was that much needed, as there really had not been a lot of great chances for the Gunners and it was really much needed, as they couldn't even get their they really couldn't find their footing until the 82nd minute, where they finally found an equalizer. And that was such a relief, as Wolves was really parking the bus and playing defensive, and there's really no way in. But fortunately, they were able to find a way to penetrate past Wolves' defense and get the much needed goal. And looking to find a way to win the match, they would have another couple. They would keep on pressing, and that's what I love about Arsenal. They're never satisfied. And two chances that stand out to me in particular were one by Nicolas Pepe again, who tried to put in a great shot off his left foot, but it actually went off Gabriel, trying to put it in himself, trying to redeem himself for his error. But unfortunately, it didn't help as well. He didn't but unfortunately, once again, he didn't help in their cause, and is put out for a goal kick. And only a couple minutes later would they get another great chance to Granit Xhaka, this time putting in a great effort into the top left corner, but it went off the top of the crossbar and out. There's also some confusion near the end of the game as uh, when it appeared that Raul Jimenez was going to be subbed off, he was instead shown a yellow card, and he was actually never supposed to leave the field at all. So, kind of a confusing turn of events, but he, and kind of really summed up his match today. He really was not very productive in Wolves match. It really wasn't productive for Wolves today, and so I can understand his frustration as he probably wanted to be the hero for Wolves, especially if it would have been what a result it would have been for Wolves to win at the Emirates. It would have gone down as a club legend for that if he isn't already, because he has been very productive. And um, going back to over a year ago now, where he went into that incident with David Luiz, so it's really tragic to see um, how he's never been the same since. But he's still an incredible footballer. And with that, a perplexing substitution near the end for the Gunners with Nuno Tavares coming out for Kieran Tierney. I didn't really see what the point of that was, but I think in a way it was for Tavares uh, to serve as a more attacking um, option, and the fact that Tierney was probably exhausted from playing the entire match. So I guess there's a purpose to it. But it would I mean why should I complain now when in the additional 5 minutes of added time in what is deemed to be now is Arsenal's version of Fergie time or Wenger time. Arsenal put up a great passing play into the box. It was ultimately finished off by who else but Alexander Lacazette. But it is actually credited as an own goal for Jose Sa. And while Sa did get a finger on it, I don't really know how it was his own goal, but nonetheless, it was just bedlam as at the Emirates, and I was ecstatic with the result, and it was exhilarating as I just described at the beginning. There's no other words I can say. They deserve this so much, and to be rewarded with the result of this is pure bliss, and there's nothing more I can ask for. And they would even try to get another chance to get a third goal, but it would ultimately be put away. And that was the match as Arsenal leaves the Emirates today with a 2-1 win, with a 2-1 win over Wolves. And my final thoughts are: it was I could never have anticipated them making a comeback at this scale, and I don't really want to like overrate or like be overhyped or overhype the result, but it I mean the fact is it's very impressive to come back from a 1-0 deficit, especially in with only less than 10 minutes to go, and they deserve the respect. They absolutely deserve the respect, and I hope they get a day off of training for because of this match. They were marvelous. Again, really no faults today except maybe by Gabriel, but even then, he was still he still did his job fine, and I really have uh, no criticisms of the team really. Uh, but and as a result, my man of the match today goes to Nicola Pepe, who came on, wasn't really expected to do much in the last 10 minutes of the game, not in the last 20 minutes of the game, but really proved himself. I don't know if that necessarily means that he will be a starting in the starting 11, but as a sub go as far as a sub goes, even though he was costs a lot of money, he definitely has proven it. And I thought his contributions in the first goal, getting a good chance just after that, and then helping out with the winning goal, ultimately propel him to be my man of the match. So anyway, leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed my reaction, and join me next time on the Arsenal fan experience as Arsenal takes on Watford. Arrivederci.